I'm William Target and welcome to episode 6 of Know Your History, where this week we'll be looking back at the history of Cheshunt. One of the oldest clubs in the Isthmian League, Cheshunt were initially founded in 1880, although the first major events in the club history would take place after the start of the new century. In 1901 the club won the first ever edition of the Hearts Charity Cup, a trophy they would go on to win 2 further times in the next 5 seasons. Also in this time period, the club reached the semi-finals of the FA Amateur Cup, losing to Ealing. In 1907, Cheshunt left the FA to join the Amateur Football Alliance, playing in the Southern Amateur League until the outbreak of the First World War, after which the club joined the Isthmian League. In 1924, the club won the Hearts Senior Cup, which was to be their last major achievement before a downturn in fortunes. The second half of the 1920s saw the club finish bottom of the Isthmian League for 4 successive seasons amidst falling heavily into debt, eventually disbanding altogether in 1931 after Cheshunt Cricket Club, the owners of their home ground, raised the rent on the property. It would take 15 years for football to come back to Cheshunt, as in 1946 a group of local businessmen decided to resurrect the club. The debut season of their return was a resounding success, finishing runners-up in Division 1 of the London League and winning the League Cup and Hearts Charity Shield in the process. They would go one better a year later, winning the league title, successfully defending their crown in the 1948-49 season, this time earning promotion to the Premier Division, which was one at the first time of asking, making it 3 league titles in a row for the club. Cheshunt would play in 3 different leagues in the 1950s, joining the Delphian League in 1959, only to come back to the London League 4 years later, before becoming founder members of the Etolian League in 1959. Their stay in this league was short-lived, however, joining the Spartan League in 1962 and immediately winning the league title. More silverware was collected the following season as the club won the Spartan League Cup, before once again playing in the Isthmian League for the first time as their original incarnation had folded in the early 1930s. Continuing their run of successful debut seasons, Cheshunt finished second to earn promotion to Division 1, winning that title in 1968 to be promoted to the Premier Division. The 1970s would yield no league titles, but plenty of cup victories, collecting the London Charity Cup in 1974, a year later doing the double of the Athenian League Cup and the East Anglian Cup, the former of which was retained in 1976. Another league change came in 1977 as the club was accepted into Division 2 of the Isthmian League. This time Cheshunt would have to wait a few years to achieve promotion to Division 1, which they did by finishing second in 1982. Success was hard to come by in this new division, however, and they were relegated back to Division 2 2 years later. More turmoil was to follow, as at the start of the 1986-87 season, players and management staged a mass walkout of the club over budget cuts, leading to the club finishing bottom of the league and being relegated into the Spartan League. The 90s would be a decade of great movement for the club, as in 1993 they finished third to earn promotion back to Division 3 of the Isthmian League to go along with winning the Spartan League Cup. They earned a second successive promotion as they finished second, but were relegated from Division 2 in 1998, coming straight back up a year later as they finished third again. This time they remained in the second division, earning promotion to Division 1 by winning the title in 2003. Another double promotion was to come, as a third place finish saw them earn promotion to the Isthmian Premier. Their debut season was a difficult one that saw the club finish in the relegation zone, but instead of dropping to Division 1, Cheshunt were moved to the Southern League Premier Division. Another relegation followed, this time to Division 1 North of the Isthmian League. A league reshuffle saw them placed in the Isthmian South Central in 2018, when the club finished third to qualify for the playoffs. First Marlow and then Bracknell Town were beaten to earn promotion back to the Isthmian Premier for the 2019-20 season. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Know Your History. Please join me again next week. We'll be covering the history of another team in the Isthmian Premier.